Summary of Aunt Jennifer's tigers. Adrienne Cecile Rich. A woman named Aunt Jennifer expresses her suppressed feelings through her art in the poem. She is a victim in the male-dominated society. She has no one to tell you her mental and physical pain. She makes a picture to convey her deep feelings. The speaker describes the tigers which her aunt produced on the panel. They are set in motion. They are moving quickly by raising the front legs and jumping forwards on the back legs. In the green jungle they look free, bright, brave, fearless and magnificent. There are men sitting under the tree, but the tigers do not. They move on to their goal boldly and smoothly. Jennifer finds it difficult to make pictures by using the ivory needle. She is tired of doing the household work after she got married. She can't get herself involved in her artistic work. She has to do it in her leisure time. Even then she has to be sure whether her husband is watching her or not. So, her hands are terrified. She will not be free from fear until she dies. She will be dominated by her husband. She will die, but her art will express her desire to move proudly and fearlessly like the tigers she has made. Now the main points of the poem as follows. The poet addresses the constraints of married life, experienced by a woman. Aunt Jennifer weaves tigers into the panel. These tigers are brave and have no fear of men. Aunt Jennifer is terrified by her dominating husband. Her finger flutters due to the mental suppression. She is not happy with her married life. She will die, but her art will express her desire to move proudly and fearlessly like the tigers she has made. The poet was born in 1929 and in 2012. She was an American poet, essayist and feminist. She is one of the most widely read and influenced poets of the second half of the 20th century. She talks about a woman's experiences in her married life. She has tried to explore the inner feelings of a woman who is living under the dominance of men. Adrienne Rich was brought up in a well-off family. Rich felt dominated by her father's strong personality while growing up. It was he who most guided her as a young poet. This was not always to her liking, as he expected her to write her poems his way. When Rich was growing up, men dominated and women were expected to become dutiful wives in their adult lives. All these elements may have influenced the picture of marriage Rich drew in this poem. At the heart of the poem is an image of a husband who controls and frightens his wife. Rich wrote a lot of poems based on everyday experience. One topic she often featured was the tension women felt due to being dominated by their husbands. In Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, Rich is mocking the weakness of Aunt Jennifer and the clout and authority of Jennifer's husband in their marriage. Now listen to the first stanza followed by its explanation. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen. Bright topaz denizens of a world of green, they do not fear the men beneath the tree, they pace in sleek chivalric certainty. Here the poet explains the misery of the lady whom she addresses as Aunt Jennifer. She is embroidering a piece of cloth. It could be a tablecloth or a wall hanging. The pattern shows tigers who are moving and jumping around all over the fabric. They are bright yellow in color, like the color of the topaz stone. The difference between Aunt Jennifer and her tigers is that the tigers are fearless, but this lady is the victim, like a deer. The tigers look elegant, shining and full of the gentleman's grace. Now listen to the second stanza followed by its explanation. Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool find even the ivory needle hard to pull. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. Here the poet visualizes that the lady's fingers are trembling with the fear of her husband, as he is one of the fierce tigers. She is pursuing her hobby in her free time, but probably she is still afraid of her husband, who could scold her. As the husband bought the band, it still belongs to him, not to her pathetically. As usual, the lady is dependent on her husband as she was dependent on her father before her marriage unexpectedly. She is still burdened by the weight of the ring. Weight means the encirclement, a trapping that has fallen upon her by getting married to him. She has been burdened by the obligations of married life, has become a man's property. She has been living a demanding life due to which she has worn out in her old age. Now listen to the third stanza followed by its explanation. When Aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie still, ringed with ordeals she was mastered by. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. Here in these lines the poet points out the wishes of the lady, that she wants to live a free, fearless life indicated by her choice of design, the tigers. It shows her innermost desire of being strong, fearless, which has been overpowered by her husband. Probably, her ordeal will end upon her death. Her frightened, shaking fingers will be put to rest. But still, even after death, the ring shall remain on her hand, i.e., her husband's rule over her is not yet over. After her death, Her desire of freedom and fearlessness shall remain alive in these tigers which she has embroidered. Let's learn some new words. Prance means walking or moving around with high springy steps. Topaz means a bright yellow-colored stone. Denizens means animals that live or are found in a particular place. Sleek means elegant. Chivalric means being courteous, especially to women, an act of a gentleman. Ordeals means extremely severe tests or experiences. Fluttering means moving in quick, irregular motions as if being agitated. Let's learn some question and their answers. How do denizens and chivalric add to our understanding of the tiger's attitudes? The word denizens means that they are proud of their home. They feel safe there and have a feeling of belonging attached to it. The word chivalric shows that they have a majestic and worthy position, like knights. Why do you think Aunt Jennifer's hands are fluttering through her wool in the second stanza? Why is she finding the needle so hard to pull? Her hands are fluttering probably because she is scared of her husband, who could come anytime and scold her for sitting idle and wasting her time doing embroidery. She finds the needle so hard to pull because her fingers are tired of working endlessly all through her life. What is suggested by the image, massive weight of Uncle's wedding band? It suggests symbolically that the bindings and obligations of her marriage are so much as they have put a lot of burden and stress on her. Of what or of whom is Aunt Jennifer terrified within the third stanza? She is terrified of her husband. What are the ordeals Aunt Jennifer is surrounded by? Why is it significant that the poet uses the word bringed? What are the meanings of the word bring in the poem? The ordeals are obeying her husband's orders, fear of men and giving in to his dominance and fulfilling his commands. Ringed indicates entrapment, as the ring encircles the finger. Similarly, her husband has encircled her in his clutches. Her body and soul are both trapped, struggling for freedom and fearlessness. Why do you think Aunt Jennifer created animals that are so different from her own character? What might the poet be suggesting through this difference? I think that Aunt Jennifer's intense desire for freedom and fearlessness came out through her creativity. This is the time when she is with herself, and then her innermost feelings are expressed. Here her medium of expression is the embroidery. Through this difference it is shown that the lady is not what she is. Her circumstances have made her so, but even she has a desire to live life with respect and pride. Denizens of a world of green means inhabitants of the forest. Massive weight of Uncle's wedding band means the burden of marital obligations sits heavily upon Aunt means has laid a lot of stress on her. Ringed with ordeals means to get entrapped in hardships and sufferings.